Good morning, friends. I, Dr. G.K. Goswami, today invite you to participate in an interaction with a great scientist of India, Dr. A. Jayakumar sir. And I want to introduce him. I have personal connect with him. He completed his PhD in year 1979 from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. We all know JNU. And he did his PhD from School of Life Science, SLS. So I narrate one very memorable, and his kindness also reflect therein. I went in 2022 as Fulbright Fellow to US, and I was traveling in search of my research work, and I was planning to go to Houston. So I actually posted the information on social media that I am visiting Houston on that particular date. And as my profile on LinkedIn and many other social media reflect that I have also studied in JNU and especially the same school, School of Life Science, where sir has already done his PhD. He is more than 12 years senior to me, and it's very heartening that he wrote back on the same social media that I should connect with him. He shared his number, mobile number, and ultimately he made me to cancel my all booking in hotel, and he was so kind that he came to pick me from airport, and then around 10 days I was with him. I had that hospitality, and Madam Jayakumar ma'am, she took me so much affection, care, and like their own son, I enjoyed that hospitality. So with this note, I will just introduce sir's journey. As I told, he completed his PhD in year 1979. Thereafter, he shifted to US. He completed 2-year postdoctoral fellowship. And afterwards, he nearly 35 to 40 years, he is engaged in research work and particularly in cancer field. And we all know the nuances of cancer in the society, and he has served a long period gathering so much of experience in cancer biology in none other than the hospital named Anderson Cancer Research Institute in Texas. Sir has published so many articles, and without taking much of time, now I must invite you, sir. You are most welcome to our institute, UPSIFS Lucknow, and I am grateful as the founding director that you have not only consented but interacted with our students, deliver a very thought-provoking lecture, because this institute is basically designed for forensic science, legal studies, cyber security, but the perspective you have shared with our students was phenomenal. And with this, I thought appropriate that your wide knowledge should not be limited to our students. So I planned that I should conduct one interaction with you. And sir, with your permission, I will ask few questions so that our audience, particularly the students, the academia, and other stakeholders may get benefited of your vast experience, your research, and you have so much of affection with our country. Every year you keep coming, visiting India, interacting with students, academia in different universities. You are so sought after that I am very lucky, and our students, this institute, feel proud to welcome you, sir. So again, on this show, you are most welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goswami. In fact, I am so grateful to him for his invitation to visit his institute and interact with the students. This is my first visit to Lucknow. I also came along with my wife. We really thoroughly enjoyed your hospitality.
Thank you very much, sir.
And the dinner you served at our house, the lunch, and the lunch you specially made for us, it's phenomenal, lip-smacking, fantastic. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm here, and please ask your questions. I'm ready to answer and share my limited knowledge with you.
Sir, it is your humbleness. Sir, as usual, like in our institute, we are dedicated, this government of Uttar Pradesh has a vision to develop this institute with forensic science expertise and legal expertise. Normally, people believe in general that forensic science is more confined to courtroom practices to deliver justice, to aid judicial process and all. In my humble opinion, sir, as a researcher and as a serving police officer, I find in last couple of years with my research work, with my field studies, that forensic has a wider perspective in addition to courtroom practices, courtroom services. So, you are a very renowned cancer biologist, having so much experience gathered in last almost 4 decades, sir. How do you see that the students from different background can venture into the healthcare, particularly the area you have served the humanity?
That's a very thought-provoking question, Dr. Goswami. And I was really very impressed that the institute, the Uttar Pradesh State Institute of Forensic Sciences, was started only a year ago. What a phenomenal growth in 1 year. I am a cancer biologist. I have some rudimentary knowledge about forensic science. I was so lucky to read a book which Dr. Goswami sent to me, written by Dr. Goswami and his daughter Aditi Goswami, Spreading the Wings of Forensic Sciences. Wow, I learned quite a bit on that. And it is a very provocative thinking that you have to bring these two, legal studies and forensic science, into a common, and then let them learn, the legal people learn forensic science and forensic experts learn legal studies. That way, they educate themselves, each other. Otherwise, the legal people knows only legal system, as he said, only court proceedings, and then the forensic science only knows about the evidence they're generating during the solving the cases. It reminds me of saying that justice delayed, justice denied.
Yes, sir.
So the forensic science really helped to speed up the things. It is not just simple term, as he said. It's a kind of mind setup. Even forensic science, there is no definition. I was surprised to see in Hindi there are no words. There are 2 words he described, and he is urging the society to come up with a word for that.
Yes, sir.
So going back to his questions, I think it's a great science. There is a lot of wide in it. Once you train these people in BSc, LLB, or M.Sc, BSc for forensic science, or integrated courses, right? These people can, there is a lot out there. They can go and serve the community. And one of the things I was thinking, maybe, they should set up here some kind of biotech companies, right? They can relay a gene, something like that, so that, they can even, profile the criminals of all the criminals and make a big database.
Very right, sir.
They can make a big database, or solving the family history, right? I mean, it's a mind-boggling how the forensic sciences doesn't confine only to the legal court proceedings, but there's environmental forensic science, community forensic science. My God,
Sir, one question I want to ask, as you rightly mentioned, sir, about the spreading the wings of forensic science, that is the call of the hour, sir. I want to know that these days I learnt that in different countries and of course in India as well, the organ transplant is a big issue, right, sir?
Yes.
And in general, in medical parlance or in medical field, earlier the blood groups and many other proteins and various analyses were being done. But in the recent past, almost it becomes a certainty that DNA profiling also help to match the correct organ transplant. So how do you see as cancer biologist, and especially, sir, because we have connectivity with School of Life Science JNU, and we had, in fact, you were the pioneer, and the stone was set. He was, I think, the second batch of PhD when SLS started.
Correct,
So,
you
sir,
are absolutely right.
Sir, in JNU, we had a very world-class, biologist at that point of time, and still the legacy is there. So how do you see that this knowledge of biology, what we are providing here, how they can spread their wings, sir, as students, because they have the dreams, and we want to fulfill them. So how you can ponder and can suggest, sir, some dynamics, sir?
Thank you, Dr. Goswami. That's a very interesting question, thought-provoking question, which is it's very essential to address this question. And what I'm thinking, first to answer your organ transplant question, yes, myself I donated bone marrow for a person who is inflicted with cancer, blood cancer. So she was in dire need of bone marrow, and I matched. Again, matched not by DNA, but other criteria, the set of criteria they have. But then, I donated. What I'm trying to say is that, DNA fingerprinting is a current technology, right? It's the latest technology so that can precisely match, apart from the conventional methods, matching all those based on the blood groups, IgG and all those things. DNA matching is perfect. There is no error being done. I think it's all emerging right now.
Yes, sir.
People are in need of liver transplant, even kidney transplant.
Yes, sir.
This is a very thought-provoking questions. I think I have some rudimentary knowledge only about these things, but I'm sure DNA fingerprinting can be used there also in avoiding errors, in matching precisely between the two people, the donor and the recipient.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
And answering the questions about the students, how can they spread the wings after getting trained here in forensic sciences, I think a lot of opportunities. Some of them can venture into the biotech business, they can start business, or they can come over to US and UK and other countries and gain some more knowledge and come back. I think India, there is a big void in this field, and that's great. You are training a lot of, you are creating a pool of man pool having this expertise in forensic science. Not only to students, you are training police people, judicial people, right? It's great. I think it is one of the transformative institute in India, I think. This is the first institute. I am aware of institute where they are giving just one degree, right? Not the admixture of both.
Sir, thank you.
That is the greatness of this institute. And the institute is in great hands, Dr. Goswami. When I talk to him, my God, I am really taken back. I am really enthralled. I am, really thrilled the knowledge he has on fine arts, music, science, behavioral science, social sciences, and his own field. I think the institute is in good hands.
Thank you very much, sir. Your comment are very encouraging to me and the institute as well, sir. Another very important question, sir, because I know we both belongs to the humble background. You are also from the rural background, and that time, especially about 40-45 years back, when you start your journey, came from down south India to one of the most premier institute of the country at that point of time, and still it has the legacy. So, sir, and then you went to US for PDF and served there in different and the best capacity you worked. So, how do you suggest, sir, the young generation to our country that if they want to venture across the boundaries, then how should they proceed? Just in a brief, I know it is a very detailed description may require, but just with your brief experience and your guidance, sir.
That's a very interesting question, Dr. Goswami. I see a lot of similarities between myself and then Dr. Goswami. We both of them from rural areas. And then, we excelled in our education. Then we got our career. We excelled, he excelled in his career. I also did some, I'm proud of what I accomplished in cancer biology. I think what made us very successful, achievers, I am not calling overachievers, the dedication, the motivation, and keep reading. Thiruvalluvar, there is a famous poet in our place called Thiruvalluvar. He says, Muyarchi Thiruvanayakkum. You keep work hard, you will be rewarded.
Very good, sir.
The other one is, Deivathan Ahadadinum Udamudan Meivartha Kudidarum. Even God has different plans for you. Your sheer hard work, you will be rewarded.
Very nice.
So,
very motivating.
So that is what it is. I urge the students to dedicate themselves, whatever studies they are taking, either in forensic sciences or legal studies or criminal justice or integrated programs. Dedicate, work hard, work smart, keep reading, read. Reading is a good habit. And focus yourself, dedicate yourself, don't give it up. And then you will be rewarded. Sheer work will reward you.
Thank you very much. You have motivated our young generation, sir. And another very important point which I always look the answer from very, people who have achieved in life, like you and many more, that, the government sector or the employment in any country has some limitations, sir.
Absolutely.
And I believe, especially, sir, I want to mention one important point, that government of India has transformed our criminal justice system completely. All three laws which were called IPC, Indian Penal Code, Criminal Procedure Code, then Evidence Act, they have been completely wiped out. And now we have introduced our own new setup, having the cultural imprint, like Indianization of our criminal law. And from the 1st of July this year, the laws are executed. In that, the silver line for forensic expert is that in section 176(3) of Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Sanhita 2023, now forensic investigation becomes mandatory, sir. And especially in those cases, you can say simply in heinous cases, and precisely in those cases or those crimes where punishment is either 7 years or more. That means earlier, investigation needs to have forensic evidence by choice.
By choice.
That means police, if they want to conduct DNA or fingerprint or any other forensic evidence, was a choice. Now it is mandatory.
Right.
In this background, sir, because lot of forensic services are required, we need, considering our volume of crime and the pendency already with the existing laboratories, we have to expand it. Government has given 5-year time. I want to ask this question, sir, that can you suggest with your experience that the young generation, they should look to have their own business setup, to develop some services. And this is the era of interdisciplinary approach.
Right.
So, can you just suggest that other than employment in any organization, maybe private sector, government sector, how you think that these generation, especially in our field, those who are working in forensic science, cyber security, legal studies and all, how they can venture into their own business, startups and all. Government is providing a lot of facilities to them. So just your motivation I need, because your experience will have a different voice to our young generations.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I think it's great that the government change has completely the 3 sets of laws. I think we inherited those things from British government, I think.
Yes, sir.
I'm not not an expert on law, but I guess we inherited those things. Now, as he said, it was Indianized. That's perfectly all right, correct? We welcome the changes. Again, again, it's very satisfying and gratifying to know that forensic science, it becomes mandatory. That's fantastic, because you cannot dispute the evidence you collect by DNA fingerprinting or DNA profiling or dermal finger profiling, right? Is it dermal profiling or dermal fingerprinting?
Dermal profiling is also there. When you collect some data, then it becomes a kind of profile. But for individual, you may call it dermal fingerprinting, because now there is DNA fingerprinting also.
Yes.
So now to segregate these two fingerprint, then we call that DNA fingerprint or DNA profiling, and the dermal one is dermal.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Or palm fingerprint.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So the idea of all these things, bringing all this technology into the court proceeding is that, the real culprit doesn't escape because of his power or political connection or money, right?
Very
At
right.
the same token, so that's a key. The one who commits a crime, he needs to be given the justice. So that he is given the punishment, or then the victims are happy about it, right? So this is a law, right? Law is served, justice is served. So when the law is on our side, you pound the law. When law is not on our side, you pound the table. That's what somewhere I read.
Sir, the very important point I want to add with your observation, that forensic science actually not only provide justice, but the another segment of justice is that justice should not only be done, it should be seen also. So this seen part actually, the forensic science actually enhance.
Yes,
Suppose the DNA match.
Correct.
So everybody knows, that DNA has been matched. That is why he has been convicted. So that is the visibility part of justice. So I think you rightly picked the point. I just ask that how the private sector or the young generation, they can venture into that. Can't they start working on their own setups, the startups, so that they can supplement the objective driven by the government?
Absolutely. I'm coming to answer that last part of the questions. I just want to applaud the government. They brought the forensic sciences as a mandatory, and then how it helps really to speed up the trial and really punish, because this is evidence-based DNA and nobody can refute it. And again, answering the question, so this institute is training the students in that field, right? As we talked about it before. Now they don't have to just depend on the government and private sector for job opportunities. Yes, there will be plenty of opportunities in state-wise. They can go anywhere and start and get employed. But I think some of the students, I really beg them to start thinking about set up their own company. You may get some loan from the government. There is some big farmers, they can, when you put forward some ideas, if they like the idea, they wanted venture capitals, right? They wanted to fund your project, you can start like that. So some of the students, I think, should focus on their attention, starting their own business in a small scale, getting the help from the big pharma, and I am for sure they will succeed. Let me tell you one story. In the US, I keep reading a lot of times, so, especially the black American was in jail for a long time.
Yes,
but
sir.
then the DNA evidence introduced, he was found innocent, he was released.
Very right.
And he was compensated. I mean, my God, without the forensic, without the DNA fingerprinting, he will rot in the jail. What about his family? So
Yes, sir.
hats off to the forensic science. And then coming to this, going into the industry, not just regular jobs. I know Dr. Sinha, he came from Bihar, he got his PhD from Louisiana State University, LSU. This is way back, 40 years ago. He started this Reliagene company, and he became a multi-millionaire.
Very good, sir. So
Really
I think this is very
multi-millionaire.
motivational, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you very much, sir.
There are so many Indians like they started business and become, so rich. I was reading about the Bhargava for local people, Lucknow, making the drink. That drink, he became rich, $1.5 billion worth. Of course, he's from Lucknow, but he is in US now.
Good, sir.
I said, my God, I'm in Lucknow, I'm reading about him. So there are a lot of opportunities for youngsters. So venture out, take the chance. And unless you take a chance, you won't be rewarded. So dream big, go after your dream.
So thank you very much, sir. You have given a lot of illuminated path. You have charted the path for the youth, and your experience, your cultural heritage, your roots in our Indian culture still persist in a very vibrant manner, sir. I could see your happy face and giving your experience, sharing with our students, with the young generation. So thank you very much, sir, for
Thank you, Dr. Goswami.
accepting our invitation,
Yes,
sir.
yeah. I want to add another comment. Yeah, after my talk yesterday, I have given talks in so many places. Most of the time, the students are very silent, the faculty very silent. But in really surprisingly, what I saw observed, students are really very eager. I can see in their eyes. Several of them are asking questions, and the faculty also are very knowledgeable. Really complicated pathway. I put it on the board, and this faculty, I don't know her name. She got her PhD from Abarna Dishit. She was much junior to me, and she was asking the details of the pathway. I was really surprised. What I'm saying is that really, I think the institute recruits very bright students and exceptionally good faculty. Hats off to them, and congratulate Dr. Goswami.
Sir, thank
and
you
I
very
wish
much.
you all the best in your venture.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me just again have this disclosure that this is a government of UP ambitious project, sir, and we are committed to make the dream of the government into reality, and we are fully committed, and we are trying to give the exposure as much as possible to the students. As you rightly mentioned, the exposure actually give them a strength, the vision, and the dreams actually to fulfill in future, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sparing time.
Yes.
Namaskar, sir. And
God bless you.
again and again, we are inviting you to visit our institute, sir.
I'm
Thank
looking
you, sir.
forward to visiting the institute. Thank you so much, Dr. Goswami. Varga Valamudan, Varga Valamudan, Varga Valamudan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.